Welcome to UBC Sermon Discussions. Each week, we will take time to dive deeper into Sunday's sermon, unpacking key insights, exploring thought-provoking questions, and even tackling the ones that may have come to mind as you listen to the sermon. Our hope is that this conversation encourages you, challenges you, and ultimately helps you grow as a wholehearted follower of Jesus, knowing him more and making him known. Jesse here with sermon discussions this week. Brother, I'm back.
Right there. Stop right
What?
there. Jesse
What?
back. The sermon discussion pod.
That's right. That's right. I'm back. I'm filling in
Together.
filling in for Tornado. You know, he wasn't able to make it back this week, but brother, we had a really
He preached at camp.
it was okay.
Yeah, he's been preaching at a summer camp all week, and then he just took some vacation time. So
Nice.
great opportunity for him, and
Nice.
he's been doing an awesome job on these pods, and it's good to be
Oh
back
yeah.
with you though.
No, I love being able to catch him and hear him, and especially in some of the hard ones that he pretty much, that's when he started with the
Ladies and-
ladies and gentlemen, right after kind of our first one. It's like, here you go, Brian, have fun. So great questions, everybody. Though I love hearing all the questions and still seeing them come in. So this week, obviously, we not a whole lot because it was pretty cut and dry, plain and simple. What we talked about. If you missed it in the sermon, go watch it. You can. It's awesome because you get to see the installation. But it was our Deacon and Elder installation Sunday, always a special Sunday
Yep.
that we do every year now, and it's just so we're kind of going to talk about not only a little bit about what happened this Sunday, but I don't know, would we say a little bit more nuts and bolts behind the curtain type of deal, of kind of how UBC does the elders deacons. And real quick, you said this. I just want to reemphasize this. Elders. That's what we see. The elders, they're the pastors, the overseers of the church, and then the deacons, the leading servants in the church. So those are kind of the two, and you hit those and preached on those out of Timothy 3:1 through 13. So here's our first question.
Okay.
Can you describe the vetting process for both the elders and the deacons? Because you mentioned, I know in the service I was at, you mentioned there's a very long process.
Hmm.
Kind of, we could say it starts in January, right? I mean, that's when the voting process starts.
Well,
February,
not
their
really
content.
voting.
Sorry,
Then
sorry.
January
Nomination.
nomination.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nominations. And then the February is when, they get kind of talked to, asked if they want to go forward. So, man, what is that? We're in June. You're looking at like a almost 7th month process that these deacons and elders go through. So go ahead, share a little bit, describe the vetting process that both elders and deacons, they're kind of similar, but there's a little bit of differences to the two.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm more hands-on with the elder interview process now. And Pastor Bill tends to spearhead and guide the deacon vetting process. And you served as a deacon, as the deacon chairman for what, 2 years, 3 years?
3 years. Yeah, I was a
You-
deacon for 4. Yeah. Yep.
So, sir, you served as a deacon for 4 years, but you were the chair for 3.
Hmm.
So you can speak into this too. So what I basically want to speak to is there's a lot of the steps that overlap, right? Where it's the same. It's kind of the same process in many ways. So I'll just speak to it, but if I miss something, just chime in there and correct
Yep.
me when it comes to the deacons. So the first thing we do is we have the elders decide who we're going to invite into the vetting process, right? So all these nominations come in, and the elders and the deacons work together for the deacons to say, hey, we feel comfortable with moving these guys forward. These guys, we know they're not qualified for whatever reason, so we're not going to move them forward. And so then what ends up happening is we invite a pretty, big list of guys, whether they've been recommended for elder or deacon. We invite them to participate in the vetting process. And then what we do there is we assign a liaison to make contact with all these guys that we want to invite in. And when a liaison makes that initial contact, I mean, Jesse, you know this, the first thing we do is we ask them to pray about it,
Mhm.
right? And I think this year was the first year where I pushed a little harder when making the public announcements. I was saying, hey, we're going to be contacting you. So pray about it in advance, right? I was
Mhm.
in January, I was really asking the whole congregation, the men to pray about it. And if they're asked, be ready to answer if the Lord is nudging them. Because we want people
Mhm.
to step into the process because they sense that the Lord wants them to step into the process, right?
Right.
So that's there. Um, they then, if they say yes, they're interested in moving forward. We send them some basically a job description. I mean, it's the bylaws, right? The bylaws that apply to elders and deacons, and so they read the responsibilities. They understand what our bylaws say, and then the next step is they have to complete a questionnaire. And the elder questionnaire is more lengthy than the deacon questionnaire. I asked somebody the other day. I said, how long did it take you to complete the elder questionnaire? If you just put it in hours, how many hours? And I was shocked when this person said it and meant it. He said 40 hours. It took him 40 hours to complete the elder questionnaire. Okay.
Wow.
Not everybody takes that long. Obviously, this person's very thoughtful and articulate
Yes.
and that kind of thing. But I mean, it's a lengthy interview. I mean, it's a lengthy questionnaire.
Yes, it is.
The deacon one is not quite as lengthy, and that's intentional. They don't have to answer as many theological questions and stuff.
Right.
The questionnaire, it presents a lot of things, like, we wanna hear about their personal life, we want to hear about, their testimony, we wanna hear on the questionnaire about their theological beliefs, we wanna hear about scenarios, like, how would you respond in this scenario or that scenario? So, both elders and deacons have to fill out a questionnaire, and then when they submit that questionnaire, there are some things that are kind of deal breaker questions that we would say, hey, we see that they're not aligned. That's going to be a no. There are other things that are not deal breaker questions that we might feel, hey, this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. But this one right here, we got a follow up question about.
Mm.
And so the elders and the deacons, review those questionnaires. They identify like follow up areas. And then the candidate is invited to come back in for a follow-up, like a follow-up interview about their questionnaire. That sometimes there can be more than one follow-up. We've had sometimes where the follow-up interview, required kind of two parts. Um, so, that's kind of getting into the questionnaire. And then usually by the time we've got through the questionnaire and all the subsequent discussions and interviews, we've got a pretty good view on things. But that's when we uh, start to get to know the spouse a little better.
Mhm.
Usually with these folks, these are outstanding members and leaders in our church, so we tend to know them somewhat.
Right.
Um, but what we really want to do is make sure we've heard the spouse's testimony. We really want to answer the spouse's questions about her role as a support to her husband, the questions she has about how her husband's role works. We want to give her an opportunity to share her heart regarding her support level and the realistic commitment that's coming. So that conversation with the spouse is really important. And then after that, I'll just say what happens is there's a final review and prayer time by the elders. The deacons work together on that generally. And that final review and prayer time culminates in us really trying to say, Lord, we think this is right. We leave this in your hands, but these are the people we want to move forward with. And so what happens is that turns into a list of names that are sent out to the church um, in advance of a members meeting, and the church is given the opportunity to review those names. To review, this year we put out biographies for each elder and
Mhm.
deacon candidate, so the church can review those. And if anybody has any concerns, if anybody in the congregation has any concerns about the elder and deacon candidates, then they are requested to share those concerns. And if if those concerns are shared, I mean, we have to follow up. We will have the necessary conversations and all that. But what ends up happening is names are presented then to the church in a members meeting, and the members have to vote, you
Mm,
know? And so we just did that back on June 14th, and, it requires an 85% vote for an elder uh, to 85% support for an elder to be, confirmed in on vote, and I think the deacon is the same, but I off the top of
I
my head, I can't actually
I
remember.
think you're correct. I think it is as well. And
Yeah,
they're not they're actually like ballot votes. We'll call it that, right? And we did electronic this year and had the chance, but these are actually ballot votes, so they're counted.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
They are for sure counted, and, that's the way that works. I'm trying to look it up in our bylaws right
in the
now.
bylaws.
Yeah, so deacons is like I said, it's 85% as well.
Yeah,
So that's a high level of support, and every year so far, we've been able to achieve that by God's grace, and, that's been great. So
yeah,
after the church affirms these guys in a vote, then, we do what we did today, the public
yeah,
installation service, which
yeah.
by the way, I thought it was so encouraging to me to see the men and their wives. I mean, I won't start going into naming names and stuff, but you have walked alongside me with some of these guys in
Mhm.
major life challenges,
Yep,
cancer,
yep,
surgeries, parenting issues. I mean, all these things that, you look over time, you see how the Lord has worked in these brothers and their wives to grow them to the point where the church votes them in this way, and there's that spiritual maturity that's recognized, and it's just awesome. It's great.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so we had 2 brand new elders,
Yeah.
men that were voted in on that and installed today. How many deacons between us and, Gospel Heights did we have? What
Oh,
was
yeah.
the count?
Total of 21,
Wow,
21 new deacons.
praise
So
God.
there were 16 of them from the UBC campus and, 5 from the,
Yeah,
uh, Gospel Heights campus.
yeah, praise God, that's awesome. That's a great number,
Yeah.
great number.
Which gives
So
us, I think, a total of, so now this year, once yeah, so now with the new guys voted in, we'll actually still have 9 elders because Jeff and, Harry are rolling off the elder,
mhm,
so they're going to their break year.
yep,
And then I can't remember exactly how many deacons we're gonna have, but we have, I think, 10, if I remember, 10 deacons who are, rolling off of their term. So that's kind of where we're at with the total
yep.
number.
So when you say terms, explain that a little bit for those that don't know,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
saying, "What do you mean?" Okay, so
Yeah.
let's start with deacons. So on deacons, how many when they're installed, so the
Mhm.
brand new deacons coming in this year,
Yep.
how many years are they committed to serve, and what
Yep.
does that look like?
Yeah, so they commit to serving at least 2 years, and then, they have an option to go into their 3rd year, right? And so but then, if they choose the option to go into their 3rd, then the 4th year, they have to be on a break.
Right.
So, that's the way it works for the deacons. For the elders, just slightly different. The elders is, if they, agree, then they're committing to a 3-year term, with an optional 4th.
Mhm.
But then after the 4th year, they have a mandatory break year. The only exception to that is if somebody's on staff.
Right.
So, if you're on paid staff, you just don't, have to rotate off the elder body.
Right. They can choose to, but they don't have to.
Correct. Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, very good. Which would be, for example, that's Jim, you, Jim Corbin, Bill Letcher,
Yep.
uh,
Bryson.
Dan Turner now,
Yeah,
brand
exactly.
new. Just yeah, Dan and then Bryson, yes, the gospel. So
Yeah.
I think that's all the stat people. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
We're
So
probably forgetting somebody obvious.
probably. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Harry was staff, and
That's
that's
it.
why Harry's rolling off. So
Yeah.
because he's no longer staff. All right.
Yeah.
Um, before we go on, you mentioned one thing. You said, and I'm sure somebody is like, okay, what does that even mean? Give me an example. You said deal breaker. They're going through like for elders, like because you do the elders ones.
Yeah.
I could probably give something for a deacon, but I'll let you just. It's kind of the same thing sometimes for the elders and deacons both. you say deal breaker, what does just give me an example of what a deal breaker would be, after somebody has filled out the questionnaire.
All right. Pretty straightforward. If their theological questionnaire indicates that they, in some way believe something that's contrary to our statement of faith. If they indicate that they do not support our position papers, as a church. Um, I mean, those are biggies right there, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we want every elder and deacon to be fully aligned with the statement of faith and with the position papers.
right. And to bring that up too, there is position papers, so somebody might be saying, "Okay, we installed all of the people that were installed today were men,
Yeah.
right?"
Yep.
And so we do have a position paper that just came out,
Yeah.
uh, what, month ago? Maybe something about that,
Mhm.
that speaks to, UBC's, what can I say, stance or how we feel
Mhm.
on women deacon serving as deacons. So please go and, check that paper out. The elders did a great job in doing that. And then if anybody has questions on why are only male elders, we just did an entire series. How m was it 7? 7
So
series,
thank you.
called Ladies and Gentlemen. We just got done with it. You guys just finished it up last week.
Mhm.
Go and listen to that whole entire series because throughout that entire series, um, you speak exactly to that question. So I just wanted to put that in there in case anybody is wondering or is brand new to it and just listening to, oh no, we just showed up for the first time and we want to check this out.
Yep.
We do address that.
Yeah, can let me just point people specifically. If you're
Yes.
interested in reading our position papers, you just go to our website, ubcbeavercreek.com, and then click on the resources link. And that's once the resources link is there, you'll see the option to view our position papers.
Yeah.
So that's where you can go read them.
Very cool. All
Yep.
right. So great. Here's the next kind of question. Because UBC leads and serves its church by a plurality of elders, because you just mentioned there's 9 elders
Values.
that we have. When the elders are making decisions, what happens if one of the elders doesn't agree with the rest of the group? So a little behind the curtain right there, right? So there's probably a little bit of a couple things there that you might want to kind of explain. One, that question, but what does plurality, some people don't quite understand,
Sure.
what plurality might mean, and does that mean, okay, well, Jason's the senior pastor? I've heard that term growing up, right? So is Jason a senior pastor? Does he hold more weight in his v I hate to even use the word vote, or whatever. So explain that a little bit, for people that might be wondering.
All right. So plurality of elders means that we want to operate ideally with more than one elder leading the church. So um, what I like to teach is that our elders, Lord willing, operate by plurality and parity. parity. Okay. And parity means everyone has an equal voice. My voice as lead pastor makes me the chairman of the elder body, but it I could, if I wanted to, designate that role as chairman to a different elder. But we all, no matter what our role is or our title, we all have the same weight, if I can say it that way, if something came down to a vote. Um, so, that's been sweet to operate with plurality and parity, and it really does a good job of keeping us in check and doesn't give too much power and control to one person, and it's been good.
Good, good. So, okay, let's go back to now you guys are sitting, you're having a meeting, there's a decision needs to be made. Let's say that, you know, somebody is like, I don't agree with that.
Mhm.
Does do the elders move forward on that or do we wait on that decision? Like how does that work?
We just kicked that elder out.
That is not true, people. That is not true.
Um, no, so I think, I was reflecting on this. There's been a few times I can remember where, like, one of the elders would raise a point, that was, I'll just say, in opposition. I want to say that with, not
Yeah.
ungodly opposition, but it was a it was an opposing viewpoint. And I gotta say, like, sometimes those voices really need to be heard. Like, there the Lord gives different gifts and different experiences to different people, and it's good that every elder has an opportunity to raise, their voice over a matter, and yes, there have been times when one elder kind of disagrees with the rest. We listen, man. That's the response. We listen, we discern, we discuss, we ask God for wisdom, um, and, I just have to say, like, that's one of the blessings of plurality.
Yep.
That we all have an equal voice and that one person can share. I will say this, it's never been my experience to see any one person even try to rule the group. Um, so we've had such sweet unity among our elders that it's been great. But the way our bylaws are set up, it doesn't allow for one dissenting voice to rule the group. Like some churches operate, even their bylaws sometimes call for unanimous consensus,
Mhm.
right? And that is ideal. It's amazing when a church has unanimous consensus amongst their leadership, but I don't think it's possible in a fallen world. It's not possible every time, I should say. And there will
Right.
be times where, um, you know, guys just aren't on the same page. I have to admit, I thought we were going to have one elder meeting where we had to actually call for a vote because I didn't think we were all going to land on the same page. But as best I can remember, we've actually never had to even take like a percentage based vote because we just work things through and brothers come to one mind and one heart. That's not required by our bylaws or anything, but that's
Mhm.
been my experience as long as I can remember. I'm getting older now, so sometimes I forget stuff. But you know, um, but man, I can't remember a time when we've ever had to take a vote and see if we met the quorum rules
Yeah.
and, hit the percentage, which by the way, I just wanted to read our bylaws. If it ever did come down to a vote, here's what it says. When it comes to the elders, decisions shall require a quorum. A quorum of elders exists when at least one half of the non-staff elders and at least one half of the pastors, which are staff elders,
Mhm.
are present and voting. A vote of the body of elders shall pass when supported by a vote of two-thirds or more of those elders present and voting in a duly called elders meeting. So there's a quorum rule there, and it requires two-thirds, just in case anybody's curious about those little nitty-gritty parts of our
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah. And again, you can read all of that stuff, like the things that the elders kind of enact or have the right to be able to make decisions on outside of the church's body. And that that doesn't happen a whole lot. Can I say that? Am I saying that correct? Yeah. So, we vote as a body of as UBC in our members meetings
Mhm.
on pretty much a lot of all the decisions. Um,
Members meeting
so
the members meetings, there are certain decisions that our bylaws say have to remain in the hands of the congregation.
Mhm.
Okay. And I can't remember how many there are, 8 or 9 very specific decisions that must come to the congregation, and those are super important, and they include who gets elected to be a elder or a deacon, right? So that's really important.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but, anytime you have that group of elders and deacons that are operating and according to their responsibilities, they're gonna have to make decisions as well, and thus, we need to have a clear statement about if you have to make a formal decision and take a vote, here's how it's gotta work.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Last question. What if someone aspires to serve as an elder or deacon at UBC? Is there anything they should do?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's wonderful. If they desire to serve as an elder, talk to me. Let me know. I literally have a list on my phone that I keep of different guys who have expressed, I think the Lord might be calling me into pastoral eldership down the road.
Mm,
Um, and so what I do is I keep their names on that list because once a year we offer the biblical eldership study group that I host at my house. And Rachel and I love to have that group. And so I've got a running list of guys to invite, for the next time around. And so, if your desire, if you think the Lord might be calling you to serve as an elder, talk to me. If the desire is to serve as a deacon and you just want to learn more about deacons and how they work at our church, the point person there is Bill Letcher, right? Talk to Pastor Bill. He can fill you in more on the functions and the responsibilities and the requirements of deacons, and just talk to you about it. I think that's if you want to talk to an individual person, that's what you can do. The other
Yeah.
thing I will say is, if you just kind of want to take a deep dive into elders and deacons and what they do at our church, like we just recorded these talking points podcasts about that. So why UBC has elders, why UBC has deacons. Those are two talking points podcasts that were just released within the past 2 weeks or so, that are like an hour and a half long each, where I'm interviewing elders on the one and deacons on the other, and we're getting into all sorts of stuff that is talking about the life of elders and deacons in our church. So
Mhm.
that would be a cool podcast for you to listen to if you sense the Lord might be calling you into either one of those offices.
Yeah, it's very cool. All right, as we close here, I just gotta encourage anyone that's listening to this, and I'm gonna give a shout out. Obviously, love the elders, love what you guys do, appreciate what you guys do. Being a deacon, a past deacon, and serving as a deacon, I'm gonna give a shout out not only to the deacons that have served, that rolled off. I just want to thank them for that. Likewise to the elders that just rolled off,
Yeah.
but specifically, I want people to understand that the deacons, literally, if you are a member, so this is kind of an encouragement to anybody listening out there that's not a member of UBC, please become a member. And the reason why is because you get a deacon.
Yeah.
You get assigned, a deacon gets assigned to you, family. They check in with you at least once a month. Uh, you know, whether that's a phone call or a digital text, to just see how you guys are doing, to be able to pray with you, to be able to pray for you, to serve you in any type of, like literally serve you in anything that is a need. And they're there for you. So I just want to encourage people. They're like, well, why should I become a member? Well, there's many reasons why to become a member. Okay. There's many, there's a, it's a biblical reason, number one, and I'm not going to get into that, but I'm just going to tell you this. It's because you get a deacon, and these deacons are, I don't have a description for them because they're amazing.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. And the way Bill has led them, the way that Corey has led them these past, what, 2 years,
Varsity
um,
U. Yep.
yes, amazing job, in doing so, and the heart that goes into it, how they pray for the members of UBC, how they serve. They come together, and to think like, what's our roster right now, Jay? Just off the top of your head, like how many members do we have at UBC?
We're really close to 1,000.
Think
Nine
about that.
900 some.
Think about that.
Yeah.
We have, you just said, how many deacons total?
Total deacons, I think we're at 45 if I remember correctly.
40. So 45 men,
Mm.
okay, are serving 1,000 members at our church. So, 2 things there. Wow, amazing. And the other one, if you're aspiring to be a deacon, be praying about it now, okay? And if you're contacted in January, if you're nominated, contacted, beginning of February,
Mm.
be praying about that. Like I said, reach out to Bill if it's something that you wanna know, because we need deacons to help serve. So, I just wanted to throw that in there. Anything you wanna add before we close up this pod?
Just loved today's service, man. I just
Yeah.
loved seeing the Lord bring these guys forward, and I'm looking at the list, the guys up there on the stage, and I just think, can't wait to serve with them, you know? Can't wait to serve
Yep.
with 'em. So,
I
praise be.
love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate you, brother. Again, honor. This is fun. I missed it. Thank you for listening. Sending your questions. Again, sermon questions at ubcbeavercreek.com, because we start up the First Corinthians series next week. Am I correct in saying that?
Restart, we'll be jumping into chapter 8.
Chapter 8. So give a quick read on that to be a refresher on that. And then, yeah, be sending in your questions because we love it and we appreciate you. Until next week. As a reminder, audio and video of Sunday's sermon, as well as a sermon guide, can be found at ubcbeavercreek.com under the resources tab.